Hello and welcome to Easy Gluten Free. Today I'm making a special holiday dish called Eggplant Timpano. And timpano means drum, so I think you can see where this dish gets its name. Now this one's a lot of work, but it's a true labor of love. And I think it looks a lot more special than a typical lasagna or baked penne you might typically see for the pasta course in an Italian-American holiday meal. Now to prepare the eggplant, first slice off the stem, then slice off about a 1/4 inch round, and this slice will be used in the center of the design on the bottom. Now slice the eggplant lengthwise into 1/4 inch planks, trying to get them as even as possible. And I used one really huge eggplant, but I did run short. You could actually see here on the sides of the timpano. So I suggest you use 2 large eggplants to ensure you have enough to do the dish. Now to fry the eggplant in a large non-stick skillet over a medium heat, add a few teaspoons of olive oil, then season with a little salt and pepper, and pan fry the slices for about 3 minutes per side. And you'll be able to see that they're done because they'll take on a golden color and become softer and more pliable. And I like to separate them by putting the nicest slices all together to be used for the top design, and the more scrappy looking pieces will cover the unseen bottom. And I like to chill them while I prep the rest of the ingredients to make them easier to work with. And I also have 2 dozen 1-inch meatballs and 2 pan-fried Italian sausages that I made the day before. And for the sausages, I sliced them lengthwise in half, and then I sliced them into 1/4 inch half moons. And in another bowl, I've got 1½ cups of ricotta, 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of freshly chopped parsley, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and some salt and pepper to taste. And just stir until you've got it all mixed together well. I've also got a pound of gluten-free penne here that I cooked 2 minutes shy of the package instructions, then mixed with 2 cups of your best marinara sauce, and I'm adding in a 1/4 cup of grated pecorino Romano cheese, 1 cup of grated mozzarella cheese, and the ricotta mixture we just made. Then give everything a stir to get the ingredients combined. And the reason I like to mix these ingredients here versus layering them into the timpano is that they'll coat all the pasta, then act as a glue to ensure that we'll get perfect slices later without this falling apart. Now to construct this masterpiece, I've got a 10-inch springform pan here that I've lined with a circle of parchment paper sprayed with nonstick spray. Now lay the circular piece of eggplant directly into the center of the pan. And for the large planks of eggplant, I like to slice them in half lengthwise, then begin to lay the slices with the short end closest to that center circle. And as you lay the next slice down, you have to cover the black skin edge of the previous slice with the cut edge of this slice so that you'll get a nice finished design when this is turned out. Now continue to work your way around, and again I ran short with just 1 huge eggplant, so I had to move on to some of the scrappy pieces. But if you do 2 large eggplants, you should have plenty of materials to work with. And as I got to the end of the circle, some of the eggplant slices were starting to flop over. But as soon as you spoon in the first half of the pasta, it will help to shore up the sides and hold those eggplant slices in place. Just take your time here and try to keep the pattern in place as best as you can as you spoon in about half of the pasta and cheese mixture. Now evenly scatter over the cut sausages and try to tuck some of them down into the pasta that's already in the pan. Then scatter over another cup of grated mozzarella cheese, ladle over 3/4 of a cup of marinara, then scatter over the meatballs, and try to make sure they're evenly distributed. This is a luxury holiday dish, so you want to make sure that each slice has some meat in there. Then add the other half of the pasta and spread it out evenly to make sure all the crevices are filled. Spoon over a little more marinara, and now you can begin to place all those scrappy pieces wherever they fit, sort of like a mosaic. And when the top is pretty evenly covered, fold over the edges. And once everything's neatly tucked in, I like to go around the edges of the pan with a wet paper towel before baking, just to clean everything up. I also like to place a sheet of plastic on top of the timpano and apply some even-handed pressure to ensure that everything's packed together well. Then remove the plastic and place the timpano onto a foil-lined baking sheet. Cover it with foil that you've sprayed with nonstick spray and bake it for 1 hour in a preheated oven. When it comes out, let it rest for 5 or 10 minutes uncovered. Then carefully run a thin knife all the way around the edges to make sure that nothing sticks. Then rest it on a wire rack for 20 to 30 minutes to set up. Now to unmold the timpano, place a serving plate on top of the pan. Then quickly but carefully invert the whole thing. And make sure it's centered on your serving dish, because at this stage you can push the pan a little to get it in the center of your serving plate. Then after waiting another 15 minutes, remove the springform pan and gently peel off the parchment paper. And I typically like to wait another 10 minutes before slicing, just to ensure that everything has set up well and won't fall apart. Then you can cut nice sized wedges and serve it on a plate with some heated marinara and a little more sauce drizzled on top. Now this might be a lot of work, but the stunning presentation is well worth the effort. It's truly one of the most impressive looking pasta courses you can do for the holidays. It's like a delectable cross between eggplant parmesan and baked penne. Your guests will be truly impressed with this one. And if you need a printed copy of this recipe, you could always visit my blog at the link below. And for brand new recipes every week, don't forget to subscribe. See you again soon.